Hi, my name is George Dickens. I'm an English language development teacher at a high school in San Jose. I work with level 3 ELD students, which means they're working to be reclassified. I have students who have special needs, specifically with reading and writing. I have students who are low both communicatively and cognitive academic language proficiency. And I have students who are high in one area and low in the other based on experience. And so it really runs the gamut. In this lesson, what I want to do is focus not only on content of an article, which is part of a content-based unit that I'm doing along with other two teachers with whom I share these students. So I'm looking at this article not only for content, but also for some opportunities to see and apply necessary components of grammar. Specifically in this article, there's a lot of can and could and will and would, what we would call modals of ability or probability or possibility. And what we want them to see is how do those influence your interpretation of an idea, and then also how would you use them to communicate a specific idea. So as they go through the text, we're going to have them identify. I want to have them identify where do you see examples of this in the text. They're going to have to scan for those. And so I'll present a limited portion of text and ask them to scan. We'll interpret that text. We'll look at some examples that occur in that very limited portion, and then use that as a grammar guide. We'll go through some short grammar notes. They'll have notes that they can write. For students who have orthographic problems, I'll provide the notes or give them the opportunity to type if they'd like. And all notes will be provided after the lesson's finished anyway. This will give an opportunity for them to just have something available to reference. For the application process, for the product that I'd like to make, I want the students to come up with a product based on the article that they would describe using can, could, will, and would. For students who really needed help, I would provide a frame for them. For students who were more free, I would provide an outline, introduce the problem, introduce your solution, describe how it works, describe how it makes your life better, something like that, and so that they know what information they need to put in, but it's not highly structured for them. For the students who are at a lower level, I might require that there's 4 examples of modals in there, can, could, will, and would. Those are the 4, and so I would ask that there be 1 example of each. For the higher level students, I would ask for 2 examples of each, so that they're just having to produce more, so it's just a little more of a complex task for them. Regarding the content of the article, the way that I generally take students through articles is not only with a pre-reading exercise, which benefits everybody for different reasons. For some, it's habit, just keeping that habit going, and for others it's, hey, think about this, stop, now think about this, stop, let's get into the reading together. But beyond just pre-reading, as students go through the article, I want them to have a guide. So they would have a guide that has at least 3 levels of question, what I would call in the text, in the head, and then out in the world. So what do you see? How can you interpret that would be like a level 2 question, and then a level 3 question would be like, well, what does that mean, or can you evaluate that in some way? Something that's a little higher level thinking. For struggling students, I might ask that they do level 1 and 2 questions, or level 1 questions with a couple of level 2 questions. I want to start off with a couple of lobs, hey, can you hit this, can you get this? But I also want to challenge them a little bit, and they have time, they have extra time, look on it on your own time if you need to. For the higher level students, I want them to be able to approach or attempt all the levels of text interpretation and interaction. And so their going through the reading guide would be a little bit more involved. So that's just a few ways that differentiation could happen. A lot of it, you have to decide while it's going on. I can see. You remember Charlie Brown? Every time Charlie Brown got mad, there's like a little squiggle of whatever above his head. I try to pick up on that, and anytime I start seeing that squiggle develop, I want to say, "Hey, come down, come off that for a second. Relax. You've done a good job here. You've done a good job here. Stick with this. We'll figure out how to do the other stuff later." And so a lot of it is just going to have to be done, at the moment. Like I can see a student is getting obsessed and getting tunnel vision over figuring one thing out. It might be time for that student to move on to another question, maybe a lower level question or something like that. Anyway, I hope that addresses some of the ideas about differentiation. There's a billion things that can be done, obviously, but those are just some of the things I would do as I approach this text. Thanks for your time, and I welcome any suggestions. If it works, hey, you just made my life better. Thanks.